Hey guys, I'm going to do a mid-build update slash mid-build review of the Bronco Humber Scout Car. But first we'll start off with a size comparison, just it versus the Cromwell. It's tiny. It's not much bigger than probably a family sedan. Of course it'll be a little bit taller with the wheels on, but not by much. Anyway, part of the reason I'm stopping just now, and by the way, the figure that came with this version of the kit is really good. I can't get the camera to zoom in on the face, but it really does look like Michael Caine. Just the camera won't zoom in on it. It actually looks more like Michael Caine before I paint it, which says a lot about my figure painting. While we're on the topic, the rest of the figures I'm going to use in the Dio, or at least some of them, with the exception of this guy. Yeah, they're all from Ultracast in Canada, Canadian company, and they're all resin. This one guy, I wonder if he'll actually show up. He reminds me of Corporal Peacock from Devil's Brigade, the movie. How close do I have to get? So I did him with a red mustache and hair. Okay, so that's how close I gotta get. So we'll go back and try this one for a second. Nope. Just ain't liking this figure, I guess. Bugger it. Anyway, the reason I'm stopping and doing a mid-build just now is because most of this kit is actually on the inside. And we'll come back to some of the fit issues in a minute. Let's go with this. Ignore that stuff. The two main pieces of the entire kit are this tub, which doesn't have this, and you add this later, and this, without all the hatches on it. There are no guides, horns, anything like that to fit these together. You just have to do it by eyeball. Which brings up, one of the first problems is this bulkhead, the internal bulkhead here, doesn't fit right. There's a bit of a gap. Now, if you rush ahead and decide to squeeze that to make it fit and get a good seal on both sides, you're probably going to throw out your fitment of the upper part of the compartment, which may not be great to begin with. So you've got to kind of just leave it. Like, you've got to keep coming back and trying these two pieces to make sure you're not screwing things up completely. Because like I said, there's absolutely nothing to keep you from gluing it like that. If you wanted to, you could screw it up that badly. And the other reason I'm stopping just now is pausing to show you guys just now, almost all of this kit is the interior. And it's got a really nice interior, but you'll never see it. Now, there's actually a couple of pieces missing. There's supposed to be a Thompson submachine gun here. I'm not putting it in there. It's a waste. I'll use it for something else. It's a nice gun, nicely molded, and you'll never see it in here. Same thing with the interior, or sorry, the upper part. There's supposed to be all sorts of stuff around here, and you'll never see it. Let me give you, even if you had all the hatches open, you're just not going to see anything in there. And we'll come back to the hatches in a second. And that's the driver's hatch. There we go. You're not going to see anything except just colors through that. So, and again, this thing also comes with a motor and a gas tank. I'm not adding it. You'll never see it. What I'm doing, stopping at this point, is I'm going to put in the primer, which is a pale green, which will pass for an interior color. And then we're going to seal this up and carry on. And I might do a couple other things to it. I might paint some of the seats or something like that, and the radial's black, just so in case you do get a peek. But anyway, one thing to note is it seems this seat in real life would go up and down. It's on a rail. You can't see it's glued to. It's pretty much on its bottom setting, and my Michael Caine Commander figure sits a little bit too tall, so I'm probably going to have to chop that off, because it was probably folded up for him to stand. And let's get on with some of the other stuff. The instructions are not great. Like this one part, B12, which is the rear hatch, or the rear visor, I should say, rear view visor, just appears there. It's not added in before, and it's not indicated. I've just penciled it in for myself. Now, where this kit, you know, they've tried to make up for the size of the kit and the overall simplicity with just madness. This whole thing here are the struts for the opening and closing of the visors. It's all photo etch, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And if you want to do it fully opened up, you'd have to do it 4 times. Now the biggest piece is P22. Just to give you an idea of how ball breaking that is, these ones here are P22s. And that's the biggest piece that you've got to do for each one of these assemblies. Times 4 if you want all 4 of the smaller hatches open. And by the smaller hatches I mean these side ones, like this one, or these ones. I do not have the time, skill, or inclination to put them together, especially seeing as they're going to be closed. And even for the driver's hatch, I just, no, screw it. A little bit of styrene rod is good enough for me, just to indicate it's not being held open by an anti-gravity device. And that's yeah, sort of the level you're dealing at. They've added pieces and made it more complex just to build out the kit, as it were. One of the other issues is, along with not having any pins or locators or guides for, you know, stuff like this. Now, presumably, the front part does. It's got a little bit of whatever you want to call it, a lip built in there, so it'll lock properly into place there. And then the front edge here, it goes down below that, so it'll keep it from going too far forward on you. And then hopefully side to side you fit. And then they've given you a couple of teeth on the rear deck to lock in. But that in itself, I'll get to that and I'll show you the instructions, is another bit of an issue. Where'd it go? Wait a second here. There it is. Okay. Now, you could put the motor in, and the rear hatch is actually made up of the 2 halves. Yeah, it's not really showing well there, but it is the 2 halves, one door on each side. So you could, in theory, leave this open to expose your engine and your gas tank if you wanted to. Now these deflector pieces are in air intake guides. They're just shown as going in, and the arrow kind of stops right there. And same thing here. No real indication. Now, in order to make it actually fit, let's strip this down a bit, seemingly properly along the back here, they have to be right back into, let's call it the corner, or the very top Originally I glued them down lower and then had to de-glue them and get them off and move them higher, which was kind of fortunate because they were only really attached by tiny little bits at the side. But otherwise, the thing will sit with a big gap and all cockeyed and everything else. And just the instructions are the same with the last Bronco. They're just not very clear on how to do things, and there's no real indicators on the plastic itself. I mean, there's some in the inside. You can see all sorts of indicator marks on this one. Let's get some light on it for stuff, but you don't really get that on the exterior for the main parts, which is really annoying. It should be the other way around. If the extra, whatever it is, 100-round drums for the Bren gun are in the wrong spot, who cares? But if you can't complete the structure because you've glued something in the wrong spot, the model's over. And just to let you know, you're not going to find a driver's figure that I can find that'll fit a driving position like that. The seat is almost right on the floor. The legs would go over the humps, and the gas pedals are supposed to sit here. So, you compare that to a standard seating position, just ain't gonna work. Anyway, but a bit of a gap here, and again, you can't really afford to force any of this plastic on the tubs, or you've got to worry about other stuff not fitting well. And the other one I've had, I can see it, is along here. I'm going to have to fill in this. It didn't sit well. So if you're entertaining thoughts of this kit, I have two main suggestions for you. First of all, get this version. It actually includes the figures, because it does include the Michael Caine Commander figure. And I think that's what the SP stands for. I don't know how that becomes extra figures or special figures, but even at the local model shop today, I saw this kit, but it was just the CB 35009, no SP on it, and it's just the model. There's no figures included, or just the vehicle. There's no figures. So find this version. And the other oddity is, while he is in summer/fall dress, the rest of the figures, and these are the ones that came with the kit, I'm not painting them, not using them on this, they're all in the cold weather gear, the so-called pixie suit. So you can't really use them with the main figure, or the main character figure. So you'd have to decide which season it is and use the figures accordingly, which is why I had to go and get all these figures from Ultracast, and I've got some more coming from Mini Art, just for some variety. But I'm going to carry on with this. Next time you see it, it should be finished, or at least built and primed, and we'll see what happens in the meantime, and that'll be in a couple of weeks. I'm not rushing through this stuff just now. Anyway, take care.